Mary Lennox was a sour and selfish little girl who lived in India with rich parents who didn't care much about her. She was raised by servants, and no one taught her to be kind or loving. When a terrible disease spread in the house, her parents died, and Mary was left alone. Mary was sent to live with her uncle, Mr. Archibald Craven, in a big old house called Misselthwaite Manor in the English countryside. The house was gloomy, full of closed doors and strange noises. Her uncle was rarely at home, and Mary didn't like the cold or the quiet. She felt even more angry and alone. At Misselthwaite Manor, Mary had to learn to dress herself, speak politely, and walk outside every day. A kind maid named Martha told her stories about the moor and her brother Dickon, who loved animals and plants. One day, Mary heard about a secret garden. 10 years ago, Mrs. Craven, her uncle's wife, had died in the garden, and Mr. Craven locked the door and buried the key. No one had entered since. Mary became curious. She wanted to find the garden and see what was behind its walls. As Mary spent more time outdoors, she became stronger and healthier. She played in the fresh air, walked through the gardens, and started to feel more alive. One day, she followed a robin who led her to a hidden spot in the garden wall. There, buried in the earth, she found a small key. Later, with the help of the robin again, she found the door to the secret garden, a heavy wooden door covered in ivy. When she turned the key and pushed the door open, she stepped into a magical, hidden world. At first, the garden looked dead. The trees were bare, the flowers were gone, and the vines had grown wild. But Mary looked closer. She saw small green shoots, buds, and signs of life. The garden was not dead, it was just asleep. Mary wanted to wake the garden up. She didn't know how to care for plants, but she was determined. She started to weed and dig. She loved the secret, the quiet, and the beauty of the garden. She asked Martha to send Dickon to help her. Dickon was kind, gentle, and full of love for nature. Animals followed him, and plants seemed to grow where he walked. When he met Mary, he didn't judge her. Instead, he taught her how to care for the garden, how to dig, plant, and talk to the flowers. The two children worked side by side, bringing the garden back to life. As the garden bloomed, so did Mary. She laughed, smiled, and started to feel happy. One night, Mary heard something strange, a child crying. She followed the sound through the dark halls of the manor. Behind a door, she found a boy lying in bed. It was Colin Craven, her cousin. Colin was always sick and believed he was going to die. His father kept him hidden away because he reminded him of his dead wife. Mary wasn't afraid. She talked to Colin like a real person, not like a poor, broken boy. She made him curious about the garden. Colin had never seen it. Mary visited Colin often, and slowly he became less angry and more curious. She told him about the secret garden, and finally they made a plan to sneak him outside. With Dickon's help, they took Colin in a wheelchair to the hidden door. When he entered the garden, he was amazed. It felt like a magical place full of life and peace. Each day, Colin spent time in the garden. As he laughed and breathed in the fresh air, something incredible happened. He began to feel stronger. The garden helped Colin grow. Day by day, his legs became stronger. He practiced walking, first with help, then by himself. He believed in the magic of the garden, and he believed in himself. One day, he stood up without help. Then he walked. It was a miracle. Mary, Dickon, and Colin kept the garden a secret. They laughed, played, and cared for the flowers and trees together. Their hearts were full of joy. Far away, Mr. Craven felt sad and tired for years. One night, he had a dream of his wife calling him to return to the garden. He came home, not knowing what to expect. When he reached the garden wall, he opened the door, and there stood Colin, walking and smiling. Mr. Craven was shocked and overjoyed. He hugged his son and thanked Mary and Dickon. The garden had not only healed Colin, but also helped Mr. Craven's heart begin to heal. From that day on, Misselthwaite Manor was full of light and laughter. Mary was no longer a lonely girl. She had friends, love, and a home. Colin was strong and healthy, full of dreams and plans for the future. Mr. Craven became kind and loving again. The secret garden had changed them all. It taught them about love, hope, friendship, and the healing power of nature. And though the garden was no longer a secret, it would always be a place of magic for those who believed in it.